After getting engaged to Pinette for this playthrough and reaching Bond level 21, we prepare for the last few chapters by first getting nothing of note from my first 5-star upgrade chance attempt at the well. Some refining gets done, bringing the Bryonic to +3, Vale's Misericord to +1, and Clan's Bolganon to +2. I only just noticed that there's a Fire Emblem engraving providing crazy boosts at the cheap cost of 1 might and 800 bond fragments, and we slap that onto Pinette's Brave Axe because wife and to make her more of a killing machine. Then we also engrave the Bryonic with the Blazing Emblem for the weight reduction, Jean's Elfire is engraved with the Genealogy Emblem just so it's on the weapon we're using, and finally the Misericord is engraved with the Emblem of Beginnings. Finally, I set up everyone with the emblem rings and skills they'll be using for the rest of the game, having used skill books where I can and upgrading bond levels where needed. First up is Alir, who will have Roy, because of the strength he provides and the holdout insurance. The inherited skills are Sword Power 5 and Speed Taker to fully lean into offense. Clan will stay with Celica to patch up his magic stat, which despite being glow is made up by his speed, and he has speed +4 which nullifies the penalty he has with the Bolganon tome, and Canter Plus is there for the extra mobility and positional flexibility, which will be the same reasoning for everyone else that has this. Jean has Leaf so he has enough build to not be encumbered by the Elfire tome, speed +2 helps minimize being doubled, and Quality Time Plus provides extra passive healing to allies. Alcris gets Marth, mostly for the dexterity he provides, with the potential of being a poison stacker thanks to Divine Speed's bonus with covert classes. Lunar Brace helps him penetrate through high defense thresholds, and Dexterity Plus is there to make Luna more consistent. Louis is sticking with Sigurd for the mobility, turning a movable object into maneuverable, who can crisscross between defensive lines. Resolve Plus helps him tank harder if the enemy deals enough damage to get him below 75% HP, and Lance Power 1 is free damage. I've had great success with Merrin and Erica together, so they'll stay together, having access to Lunar Brace Plus for the same reason as Alcris, and she has Draconic Hex to soften enemies further, on top of the poison stack she applies. Pinette and Lyn have been an amazing boss-killing duo for me during the mid-game, as the speed the latter provides skyrockets the former into many doubling thresholds. Wrath compounds with Pinette's personal skill, and Axe Power 2 is free damage. Seedal retains Lucina, as despite losing the opportunity to dance for the turn, he's the only Chi Adept in my final party and thus the only one who can guarantee blocks with Bonded Shield, and the consistency has been very handy. He has Quality Time for the same reason as Jean, and Dual Assist allows him to do damage via backup. Ivy gets Byleth, who provides some speed and magic as well as patches her lackluster luck. Speed +2 is inherited to hopefully get doubled less. Fogato's given Corrin so he can function as a long-range debuffer, making up for the fact his damage output is low at times. He has Bow Focus too because his hit rate would be questionable otherwise. Tamara retains Ike for the defense bonuses, and we slap on defense 3 to synergize with Sandstorm, and speed +3 helps mitigate the penalties she has with her weapons. And finally, Vale has Micaiah as her stats, and the Misericord make her perfect to be in the support role, getting stave access, and Staff Mastery 1 will help in entrap or silence shenanigans. Eventually I give Morvier and Linden Canter Plus as well, but I won't mention when that happens as this is the last time I'll be discussing skills aside from one notable moment, and you can assume I upgrade some if I get the SP required. We then have everyone accelerate their bonds with their respective emblems as high as possible aside from Jean and Leaf who we keep at level 9 max, before we arrive in Gradlon for chapter 23. We are greeted by the guardians of the first Fell Dragon Shards, Zephyr and Gris, who are disappointed to see regular Vale still around, and surprised that Alir is still alive and kicking. However, they're devoted to protecting the shard, and Vale aptly designates the two as simply enemies to be defeated, leading us into the next map with many map gimmick destructible boulders, where we can effectively skip over what happens on the right half as they don't interfere with the primary objective, aside from being targets of the map's gimmick on occasion. Most of the staff-wielding corrupted have a free staff in their possession, and on the left side they must deal with 4 corrupted worms along the way. but in exchange handle less regular corrupted. As for our bosses, Zephyr is still as disappointing as before, while Gris is a bit more frightening with his Nova Tome, which has the Brave effect. In the meantime, Temera has the Bionic as her primary weapon for the rest of the game and reads a secret book to help with their hit rates. Vale is provided a Silent Staff to hinder the two bosses later, and Morvier takes a Rescue and Warp for more positional utility. Temera, Vale, Ivy, Seedal, Merrin, Louis, and Morvier are the stars of the show for this episode, and we start the map, where turn 0 is used to showcase the map gimmick of the Fell Dragon Shard launching volcanic bombs that target 3x3 areas, can damage our allies, and destroy the boulders littering the map. Then we're given our goal of ending Zephyr and Gris. Turn 1. A refreshed Merrin immediately rushes forward to twin strike the first corrupted worm and is positioned to help the right team for a bit. Louis follows suit to aggro the next set of enemies that can hurt him on the left, as well as bait some free staff uses from the Griffin Knights that he's immune to thanks to Sigurd's headlong rush skill. The next volley of volcanic bombs are telegraphed and will do so at the end of every odd-numbered turn. Turn 2. With the assumption that the bombs drop at the end of the turn, Temera blocks the choke point while engaged and prepares Great Ether. Merrin pulls back a bit, Louis is rescued from the next bombardment, and he finishes off a Wolf Knight that was weakened by Vale, and then she and Temera are encompassed with Bonded Shield. Unfortunately, the bombs fall at the end of the player phase, yet despite that, no one died, and we enter turn 3 with Temera and Seedal frozen, while Vale and Louis are severely wounded. Great Ether hits nothing, and Seedal bonded shields again while we're stuck in the open. Louis overrides with Sigurd's Rider's Bane to slaughter the remaining Wolf Knight, and Vale further weakens the Great Knight who was caught up in it. I burn a charge around here because of a positional error where I couldn't counter Ivy to the last bonded shield spot I left open, and I correct it by having Morvier take the left position, and both he and Ivy top up Louis. To end the turn, Merrin starts poking at the second corrupted worm, and thankfully we don't take too much damage. Turn 4, we take out a Great and Griffin Knight, move our bonded shield formation outside of the next bombardment zone, and now it's turn 5. The last Griffin and the Worm are taken out, and we finally start moving with Merrin at the vanguard to lure in the next set of enemies, leading her to hit the roughly 10% chance of catching a bad case of death. So I changed Merrin's luring position so she's only hit by one of the Swordmasters, and is still extremely unlucky as a Mage Knight above landed their 10% hit rate to perfectly delete Merrin. Once again, Merrin's position is altered, and this time she only eats one of the smash attacks. Turn 6, the two Swordmasters and the two Mage Knights are swiftly slain, and Merrin lures in 3 of the Wyvern Knights from the center of the map, which were all simple to clean up by everyone else on turn 7, so Merrin is free to slaughter the third corrupted worm. Temera and Louis prepare to intercept the various cavalries arriving from the left, with the former having Great Ether active, and she's only able to slam 2 of them at the start of turn 8. Louis proceeds to safely wall off the choke point further left from the reinforcements that arrived there, who are thankfully all physical oriented, and he'll do this for the rest of the map. Everyone else finishes off the intercepted cavalries, and unintentionally, Seedal tanks a fireball from the 4th corrupted worm, losing the charges he just got from an Emblem energy tile. Then Merrin lures some Wyvern Knights from the northwest that are, once again, left to be cleaned up by everyone else on turn 9. Merrin eliminates the last corrupted worm thanks to a lucky crit, simultaneously forced to bait the Guardian Hounds. Seedal then refreshes Morvier so he can counter on the Emblem energy tile that was just out of his reach, and then he gets healed in return. Gris enacts a losing trade against Merrin, and Zephyr follows suit. Seedal gets frozen, and now it's turn 10. Merrin hobbles and poisons Zephyr, and Vale adds a second stack on top. Temera breaks Gris's first revival stone, and is then goddess danced along with Vale and Merrin. Merrin shatters Gris's second stone, while Temera puts him in critical condition. Then Vale heals Temera while next to Seedal so she can be refreshed one more time to engage, and shut down both Hounds with a single Silent Staff use, forcing Zephyr to use her S-rank Smash Sword, which only leads to her first revival stone getting smashed instead. Despite the area being clogged by numerous wolf knights, this is now the final turn, and Vale started off by ending Gris.
So, Lady Vale, where's my reward?
Reward?
The real Lady Vale promised me all the agony my heart could want. I was really looking forward to it. The cold, the severity, but in the end, nothing. Not even a scratch.
That Vale? She's gone now.
Yeah, 'cause you killed her. So you can't be all bad. Now, you tell me, how are you gonna do it? Kill me, I mean.
I'll never forgive you, Gris. But I never hated you. At least from the start. I think I understand why you were with the Hounds. Why you're you, but I'm not cruel. None of this will be a reward.
Me first!
Exquisite. Oh yeah. Mortal wounds. The really good ones. Can't say no to any of that.
Merrin and Tamara then break Zephyr's second revival stone, and Ivy makes one last poke. Then I only just realised that Seadal got frozen again on the last enemy phase, but thankfully I still had an out, as Morvier just warps him next to Merrin, so she can be refreshed to end the last of the hostile Hounds.
I'll help! Let's have some fun! Quite strong. Lord Sombron. No.
We did it! We broke the Fell Dragon Shard!